Alright, so let's welcome to Canvas. We're going to look at some of the basics to start with, and then we're going to look at some scratch and compare, and then we may just move on to a little bit of animation as well down the track. We'll see how we go. It may not appear straight away, but it'll certainly turn up on the website eventually. So in front of you in your editor is about as bare bones as you can get when it comes to declaring a canvas. Up here we have a basic style, and there it is declared. So it has a yellow background and it's got a black border. Down here we need to actually declare the canvas. It's going to be 600 by 600, and if you've got an up-to-date browser you may not need that bit, but we still leave it in there just in case someone's still using Internet 4 or something. If it is, go get a new browser. And they are the basic two start-off scripts that you need, those two variable declarations, and that's it, and you're away. Now if you save that and open it in your browser, I've saved it as basic, you'll get that. That's what it looks like, a 600 by 600 square. That's it. Alright, and we can put some shapes on there, but before we do that, the next thing we can do with this is this, and this is just saving this bit, changing it, I beg your pardon. So if you change the declaration, it says black border and centered, this will center it for you. Down here nothing's changed, so you just change that style by adding those two extra bits there, like so, and you'll wind up, and it'll look like, it will look like this. So it'll be in the center, and we might just carry on in the center, and then we might move back. But anyway, that's the easiest way to center your canvas on your browser window. Okay, now back to here. So that's what it looks like centered. Now what we're going to do is we're going to draw some shapes on there. Let's have a look. Down to there everything is exactly the same. Then we start adding some shapes. Alright, there's a comment. All of our canvas statements are prefixed with the CTX dot or context. At the moment it's CTX. You might see it flip over to context. If you're going to use context, you've got to be consistent. So what are we doing? We're drawing some lines, we're drawing a rectangle, we're drawing a triangle, and we're drawing a circle. So remembering all this stuff in your head is a bit daunting. I certainly don't. If I need to do, when I'm doing canvas stuff, I go away and have another look, find out what it is I need, just to remind me of what's going on here. And so there are a couple of slight variations as well on the way things are done here, just to show you. For example, the triangle, you can still get a triangle, but you just declare it in a slightly different way. Okay, here it's just a straight draw. Here it's a declaration of a triangle using the path. There's a lot of reserved words in Canvas. These are all lovely reserved words. You don't have to worry about all that. You just do what it says and you get a result. So if that all goes in correctly and you type it in correctly, then you'll get that. So there's your lines, there's your rectangle, there's your triangle, and there's your circle. And the last thing we'll do here is this. I'm just going to do this, and it looks exactly the same. And you go, so what did you do? Well, this is what happened. We gave it a little bit of structure. So this is exactly the same, that's exactly the same, that's the same, but down here we call up functions instead. So instead of just having a straight set of shapes being drawn, we give it a little bit of shape. Very handy to get into this fairly early, because what happens is this: if you comment out, say you're building something like this, if you comment out those 3 calls by doing that and save it and then refresh, they disappear, which is really handy when you're building stuff. That's why we're getting straight into that stuff straight away, so you can see what happens. So I go, oh yeah, well my lines are working, let's see if my rectangles are working. Okay, save again, go over here. Yep, I like the rectangle. Or you might say I'm going to move it. So I'm working on my rectangle and I might want to put it in a different spot. Alright, or I might want to make it a little bit bigger, and I might want to change the border to blue, for example, and I'm just playing with it here to see what I finish up with, and I refresh, and bingo, I've moved it down a little bit. Okay, so it's a pace to know what numbers you're changing here, because the way the rectangle works, it's a starting point here, and this is how high you want it. So if I make that 120 and do this, then I get a bigger rectangle. If I want to take it up a little bit, go back over here, play with it, then I can make this a bit higher or lower number, brings it up the screen a little bit. And then if I go back here and I go, well alright, well I'm happy with the rectangle, I'll now start working on the triangle. So you could comment everything out except the triangle if you wanted to. So you could put that back in and get rid of these, or comment them out I should say, and see what we've got now. Okay, so very handy doing that kind of stuff, and we'll do that a bit more later on. So I'll just put it back how I found it, and you can get all this in and make sure it's working properly, and then we'll move on.